What's going on, everybody? Super excited you're here. Let's get it. So level 2 is really diving into understanding some crucial pieces. So if you're wondering, you're doing all that stuff that we gave you earlier and you're finding out some realism about you. So you're realizing you're not really in control. What do you do next? So when it comes down to it, the secret to the sauce is about tension, muscle contraction, force. In this context, all of those mean the exact same thing. And it's how much force you can generate with your body. So what is that? It breaks down to this. It's a real thing. It's called Sheraton's law of irradiation. Can you irradiate force, tension through your body, deliver that tension into the joint to grab more control of it, okay? So what that would look like is I'm gonna take a breath in, pack that tension through my abdomen, let it fill through my whole entire core, and then disseminate that tension throughout my body to the joint I'm trying to control, such as my shoulder. So I can access more stuff. And I say stuff because it's not just muscle, it's ligament and tendon. It's controlling the nerve to access all that stuff so you can have more control of self. Because you can't train what you can't control, and you can't control what you don't feel. So what this comes down to is you're learning how to feel and understand self. So you can control self and then train at higher levels. Because an optimal moving body can produce optimal performance. Let's practice. All right, so check it out. Hips, man, there's a lot going on with the hips, but most importantly, it doesn't matter how many squats you do, you gotta own your hips to do any of your squats. I mean, bottom line. So, or whatever it is you wanna do with your body. If you see yourself doing lots, if you're running, all that stuff, you gotta have control. So what we're gonna do is break down CARS level 2 on this, is helping you identify some of those limitations and where you're compensating at. So I'm using this rail for my support. If you're at home and you're using a wall and you're like, you're generating, you're pushing against the wall and you got a doorway or whatever it is you're using to give you support, okay. Now think of it like this. Right now I'm gonna show you this. My hip is inside this rail. My focus is to keep this hip from moving. So that way I can focus on what I truly own in this hip, because this is gonna be the moving hip. So as soon as I'm moving, I'm listening to see how well I can keep the rest of my body in control to allow my joint to move through its full end range. And if I notice that this hip is either moving forward of the rail or back of the rail or away from the rail, then I'm clearly needing to stop, pause, and understand that that's my body cueing me that I'm compensating. So I'll hold like so, and I'm gonna bring up the leg, bring the leg out. And let's say I start to bring the leg out and I notice my body kind of doing this. And that's when I wanna pause. Snug the hip again, and try to move the leg, but I notice I can't move the leg anymore, this leg anymore, without coming away. I've just identified my end range. That's what I own. If I try to buy off more, I compensate. So I've just identified that that's what I own. The next move is internal rotation, and I start to move, and I notice my spine arching. I'm doing this. I need to pause and go, okay, I don't own that. Right there is what I got anymore, and I start to compensate. So then I go to the next move, which is extension. I go to the extension, I'm good here, boom. And I start to arch again. Well, I need to stop. Fine tune, where's it at? Right there, that's all I own. If I go any more, I start to arch. So there I've identified. Now I adduct, then go back the way we came. Go back into extension, listen to it, which is before I want to arch. And I bring the leg out. Maybe I feel block right here. I can't go any further. I start to externally rotate. And if I go any more, if I try to do this, maybe I'm slouching and I can't bring the leg up. So I'm trying to fight for it. Pause. That's all I own. And I bring it all the way through and down. And what I did there was I fine-tuned each of those areas what I really do own. So instead of doing this, we narrow it down and we truly own more of this. And that's powerful because now I understand what I authentically own in control, active range versus passive range. And now you know a little bit more about self, which is very, very useful for you and your body. Because when's the last time you took time to authentically listen to your joint system and understand if you're either in control of your system or are you just moving to survive? Practice some more, and do understand. It's just me giving you a few tips on how to listen to your body, because you're gonna find your own cueing and your own limitations, and that's the intent. Have some fun, smile, practice, practice, practice.